it. We're live. We're live. What's up, Facebook? Hopefully Instagram, YouTube. Yay, we made it. We made it. So I'm gonna tell you a real quick story. Hey, who's ever jumping on live? Thank you for joining us. Before we jump into Notorious, we're figuring out some tech stuff. So this is our third try to get this thing to go live. And if you're not up in stories, I posted about it, and I had read the best quote by Alex Ramosi yesterday. He said, "You just have to be willing to look like an idiot while you figure it out, because once you figure it out, everybody else will look like an idiot for doubting you." So timely. I'm so glad I read that yesterday, because here we are today. Here we are today.
Just a few minutes late.
Just a few minutes late. It's fine. It's fine. But we're here and welcome you guys. We got another episode of Notorious coming right at ya. Super excited because one of my best friends is going to join us today, and we're going to talk about our journey of coming together as powerful women in the industry of mortgage, and talk a little bit about our event and all the things. So welcome. If you guys are watching live, go ahead and leave us some comments. You guys can post some questions and stuff like that too. We'll come back and answer them. If you love the content, share it out into the interwebs so we can have a massive impact. And let's first start with, if you guys don't know, I'm hosting an event in Austin in October 13th through the 16th at Hotel Ella. It is for women in mortgage, created by women in mortgage. I really saw that there was a need for this last year, and so the call weighed heavily on my heart, so created it. And what I love about it's like such a testament to when women come together. So I do this thing, I post it up, and you want to know, hey, Ashley, the first person who bought her ticket, this one right here. She's like, I believe in you. And that's part of why like this thing like weighed so heavily on my heart, because I have been blessed so much in the past year and a half of knowing Cheryl and having like my running pack. My business exploded. And so having other women support you, like magic happens when we come together as a collective, and you have people that are cheering you on and running with you and like letting you do your victory lap and helping you and all that kind of thing. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. I love you.
Thanks for having me. I love you too.
All right. So let's talk about the event. Why are you most excited to go?
I think I'm most excited to go. It's actually outside of mortgages, honestly, we see a lot of professional education and, different conferences where we're talking technical skills about loan structuring and, your operations. And those are all really important things. I mean, don't get me wrong, like we can all benefit from hearing different marketing strategies and different products that, lenders are offering. But what I'm most excited about is really the connection outside of that with women that are running businesses, learning how to manage hiring, staffing, how are you deciding when it's time to hire? Like, what does your business model look like? How do you replicate that? And how do you scale to get to those next levels? And those are things that I think seem to be missing, at least for me, in a lot of the conferences that I attend. Partly because my business model is different, right? As a third-party processor, I'm not an originator. So it's a different business structure. I'm not hiring LOs, but we're growing and expanding. And what does that look like? And it's scary because I don't know that it's ever been done exponentially. And so who do you ask? And so you ask the best resources that you have in the room.
Yeah, I think too, like those kind of conversations happen one-on-one. Right. And then when we're at big events, we don't have the time to do one-on-one conversations. And so I'm excited to be able to have the opportunity to connect with other women and like, what is your secret? Like, not from the stage, like you tell me. Right. Who are you using? How much does it like? I want the clip notes. I want the fast track. I don't want the big presentation on stage, which is great. I want the secrets, and you get the secrets in one-on-one conversations. And so I think that's when I looked at like, let's put an event together, could we do a big event? Sure, we could do a big event. But I was like, we're going to miss out on like this. And I know for myself, the powerful shifts in my business happened in one-on-one conversations with people.
I was going to say, it's that lunch table, where you find people to sit with. And like, that's when the magic happens. Like, because you're watching a presentation, right? I mean, and you're all in the same room, but you're not collectively able to speak together about what's happening. And so it's that dinner that, you get time with, individual folks, with just a handful of people where you can really connect. And I think that's how you and I met and connected and really started to form. Who would have guessed, right? Who would have thought?
Wild, like,
right.
Yeah.
It was, just connecting, talking about things, and then making intentional progress towards like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm going through. How are you handling this? How are you navigating this? What are you attacking next? Like, and then just having people that are willing to listen to you whine sometimes.
Yeah. Listen to you complain. And I'd rather not do it at the lunch table. I'm going to do it by the pool this time. We baked in a lot of time for like, I'm going to go hang out by the pool. If you want, you can go take a nap, but there's time for naps for you. I know for myself, like my business really shifted a lot when we became friends, because I felt prior to having, like, I have a core group of women in this industry that are like they were my saving grace last year, Cheryl being one of them. And prior to that, I felt like I was on an island. Like I was like in my business, super lonely, and like this business can be tough and draining and stressful. And if you don't have a sounding board for that, you got to deal with that all by yourself. I mean, it affects your business. And so having other women that, I mean, even if it was just me complaining or laughing at like the idiocracy of the stuff that we deal with sometimes, it was like, I needed that energy exchange from people I previously worked with all men, but that was fine. I'll beat them anyways. But now it's like I work by myself. And so it's real tough for me. And so like that was really, really beneficial.
I think, and like you said, even professionally, but I mean, the stress of this business, I fought it for a long time getting into this business. So, if you don't know my story, my husband's a broker owner, and has been a loan officer for, over a decade. And I supported him in various roles, but I really was very much against joining, the mortgage industry as a whole, because it is a stressful industry. And so having people that really understand just what you're going through and just can just sit there and just sit in space with you and just be like, okay, yep, super stressful today. Take it in, take it out. And then like, let's move on. Like, what's plan B? What's plan C? What's plan D? Because it takes an emotional toll. Because I don't ever want to bring that stress into my family life, and having to delineate that between the two. A balancing act.
Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick, because I know for myself, that was one of the probably disparages I saw last year, which just like really started to grind me. It was like every event I was seeing being put on outside of AIM. AIM does a real good job of being gender diverse, but everyone else, I'm like, this is at best an 80-20 split of male versus female. And so every event, I'm like, yes, I would want to go to an event like this and get this kind of training and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, I don't resonate with the lineup y'all be putting out there, because it is heavy men, and this is not a male female thing, but we have different challenges. And so, it's dinner time, and I'm like, yeah, like it's dinner time, crunch time, but I got to do this and blah, 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 blah. And it's like my male counterparts don't necessarily have that same type of challenge, or their stress is different than mine. And so, being able to connect with other women and get training from that spot. And then also in my own downfalls, I would discount it and be like, well, I can't do what you do because I got this. And so being able to see other, like Elena was like, there was a point at which I was really struggling with like, how do you do it all? And she's like, I don't do it all. I pay people to do stuff. And
remember, I was like, we told you to get a cleaner.
Get a cleaner. You need to get a cleaner. And I was like, now we have a cleaner. And in my life we found somebody that fits within our budget. It's beautiful. She comes every week. And I was like, oh, that's how you do what you do, is you have to delegate. And like,
yeah, you can't do it all. No one can.
Yeah. So I was, I know you've been helping me delegate too and stuff like that. Sending me laundry detergent and stuff from my
No, I think the other side of that too is that you have to have that agreement, whatever that looks like, with your spouse or yourself. Because I mean, and many women are doing it on their own, right? With no partner. We are fortunate to have supportive partners, but there's still an agreement, whether you know that you've discussed it or not, there's an underlying agreement. There's an assumption of what your role is, of what his role is, of my role or whoever. And so if you don't hash those things out in your home, like getting into this business, it's going to get real crazy real fast, because I'm going to think, well, he should be doing X, Y, and Z. And he's thinking that I'm over here handling X, Y, and Z, and making sure that, you've vocalized what that agreement is really important too, because, and it's going to be fluid, right? Like today, Emmett's got the kids out because it's school time here on the East Coast. And I'm like, keep those kids out of here. I'm going to be live. Tomorrow, it'll be me handling the kids with something that he's got to do. So it's that back and forth too.
What's so funny is I'm just like reflecting on our conversation right now. And like, this is a testament to the event, because this is stuff that like, you're not going to hear you're not going to hear this kind of stuff at another event, right? Like, men don't have to do this thing very much. It's really the women that are like navigating more these areas. And so how do you become successful in this industry if you have nobody to follow? If the people up on stage don't have your same challenges. And so that's one of the biggest reasons that we're coming out with the event, but among a bunch of other, like, we just can get more women in the room. And I know Cheryl's been a powerful force within me to really keep this vision and this mission going forward. And I know, you guys, having other people believe in what you believe in and like push you, and like that confirmation, that's really what I'm hoping y'all that come to the event get, that, because it has been such a game changer for me. Let's talk about kind of how we met and what's happened so far.
So, we're lucky to be in a great organization that is for trying to bring mortgage, professionals, brokers together. And so it was at an AIM event, right? And we got to dress up and get our fancy food on. And that was really what started it. We really should blame Elena. You do know that that's what happened there too, right? I mean, we were friends. And then she's like, did you see Paige's post today? And I was like, no, put me on a group thread. Let's get on a group text thread so that we can hash this out. And that was how it blossomed. And then it blossomed into our daughters being friends, which is so special to me, because I love that cross country, East Coast, West Coast, that our girls who are similar in age are friends and dying to meet each other, like miss each other as much as, I miss you when I haven't seen you in a few months in person, traveled, to Georgia for them to visit, right? Just when things fit well, I think it works well. And so totally unexpected. And I would say that you and I are pretty different in terms of, just personality. Well, not personalities, you're a little bit feistier than I am, but a little bit spicier. But, knowing that we can have different beliefs and different understandings of, how we view things, and have a mutual respect for each other, and still like, not just like, it's not tolerance, like it's abundance acceptance, it's like, I want to know more about it, because I'll be very honest with you. When I first saw like the women's mortgage network groups, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't need that. Like I was very against it, because I felt like it was poo-pooing men. Right. And I didn't want to do that. And I didn't realize that there was a way to collaborate with women without minimizing or, diminishing the work that men do. I would never want to do what my husband does. I don't want on any given day. He doesn't want to do what I do. So we have a mutual respect for each other. But once I realized that this was not about, women are better than men, or women are, that it's simply a collective of, here are resources, here are people that really you can relate to, and maybe you relate better to men. Maybe that is your life cycle, and that's okay too. But I think the bigger picture is connecting with those people in the space that are dealing with the same things, like you said, those different agreements of dinner and school and all of those components that, for the most part, men aren't challenged with, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like even curating this type of woman that is going to this event is very special, because not all women play like this, right? And I know that was probably my reservation, was like, not that you have to like play nice in the sandbox, right? But like, because this is business, and so I got you on that. But it is the idea of like, we are all winning. Like a rising tide floats all boats. And if that's not you, then don't come to the event. Like this is like, it's like a running pack, it's like the bicycle when they like, I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to try to tell you about it. Tour de France, right? And then they have like, they drift off of each other, and then like a new year comes. And so that's the idea around Notorious, is like, you guys can believe different things, whatever, but the idea is we are all winning together. And like, even if it's just my energy that you're absorbing, or my knowledge, or but whatever, but we are all winning together. And so that for me is a big part of the event, and not because that's what I've gotten from you guys. And so that, and then also, as long, as you were saying, like this male female thing, I was just thinking in my heart, like I like hold space for the time in which our industry, it's like that powerful male figure. It's like, figuratively speaking, they're like opening the door for us, pulling out our chair and letting us sit at the table in all our majesty. And there is this like king and queendomship happening between the two energies in this industry. And I think we have some room for growth for that, but it's definitely not a stomp on men like we're better. It is a, how do we elevate that female voice? Because right now what's happening is like, everybody's just like letting the door close behind them, which is fine. Like, I don't need you to open the door. I would love it.
You saw my post yesterday, right? Like, I don't know if you saw my story. It was perfect. It was, I'm a strong, independent woman, but I don't kill spiders, and I don't want to take out the trash, and I don't want to, I call my girlfriend coined it selective feminism,
yes,
where
exactly.
like I can do all things except for that. That's
yeah. Like I don't want to do this stuff. So yeah, no, there's
a fun luxury, like that's I'm grateful that I have that,
Same. Yeah, no, there's a place for all of it. And I just think that there's a lot of room for growth in our industry for women, and having that support system for them. So yeah, so we meet last year, you guys, at like an AIM event. We get put into a group chat, which just becomes like if you guys are not daily. In a group chat, daily. If you're not in a group chat with other women in this industry, like get in one, because it's such a great place of support. And then, it's so funny, like we come through the summer into the new year, and then I'm like, I'm going to buy a new house for short-term rental. And all of a sudden Cheryl's like, I'll do it with you. I'm like, oh shit, now we're business partners. Like, to think year and a half, we go from not knowing each other to becoming, the best of friends. The daughters are best of friends, and now we're legit business partners. And this is like the magic when powerful women come together, or like opportunities like this pop up. And so it might be, owning real estate together. It could be a new business venture. It could just be a connection. Like, how much of our success is developed by who do you know? And like,
here we go. You're back. Yeah. Sorry, you paused a little bit. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, like who do you know? Like Elena connected us. And so, it's like getting those people in the room. So when Cheryl's, like how Danielle, like when you came into the industry, it's like you need that helping hand. And so not trying to do it all yourself, Danielle was like, I'll got you. Like, let me help you. Let me get you connected with the right people. Yeah. I love that. I love myself. Just kidding. I love what I'm saying.
You're like, I am hitting all of the points.
I'm hitting all the points right now.
I think what it is, I mean, and I told you, right? Like, I've spent more money on dumber shit. Like, when you're going in half on on an investment property, like, okay. I mean, if we need to get out of it, like, that's kind of where I go, right? Like, if we needed to get out of it, we could quickly and easily. And it's significant, in terms of the investment, but it's not like I'm not going to eat as a result of it, right? And it drives us further, remember? Like, and we've talked about this too, because we're like, okay, now our savings account is down and we don't like that. So now we got to get to work because we want to replenish that savings account. And that was a big key. And that's a fun project. And I think it's a testament too of what we tell our clients. Hey, you need to be investing in real estate. This is where that return is. This is where, and so like walking the walk and talking the talk and like doing what we're telling others to do and saying, I believe in it so much, I'm doing it myself, even though it's scary, even though you and I had never seen the property like in person. I mean, obviously great crew, great, partners that we trust to do inspections and things like that, which is another reason for these connections, right? To get those partners, because I wouldn't have had a cleaner, an agent, a handyman, anybody in that area. But through you and your clients and your connections, we can make that full circle. And then continuing to just, reinvest in what our livelihood is. I mean, if we're not doing it, then what does that say to clients, if we're too scared to do it?
Yeah. It also makes me real more sensitive to what they're going through, because you forget we do this all the time, so it's like, I know there's a lot of money involved and whatever, but when you put your own money on the line and you get to deal with your own limiting beliefs and everything cycling up, then I have a lot more empathy for my clients when they're going through it. Why don't you share with people a little bit about opening up your own business as a woman? What were your biggest struggles?
I think so. The business originally, when I opened it, was really to support my husband. That was the general consensus. Our kids were young. My background is in finance and accounting. I had worked outside of the home for years. We had twins. We had 3 under 3 at one point. And so really being that was kind of where I was, but I was able to support him and still, make an income, right? And help provide for the family. And when he went full brokerage, I opened up the third-party processing company. And then all of our kids were in school finally at the same place, at the same time, the same car pickup, which I mean, if you're a mom, you know how like lotto that is, right? There's only one place to go in the morning and one place to go in the afternoon. And so then I really started loving the business. So I did it as a purpose. Oh, hold please while I get my earbud. That rolled across the room. I'm very animated, it is what happens. So it started out as, a means to an end. And then I really fell in love with it. Like you really start to hear, I know people are like, oh, these client stories and closings and whatever, but I swear to you, like it never gets old. Like there's never not one closing that isn't just memorable and, for the most part, like life-changing and, so good. And so I kind of became addicted to that stress, which is hard.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I could scale and that I could expand to other brokers, and then not only other brokers, other states. And, because for processing, it is a unit business, right? Like the volume in terms of sales volume is different, right? So it's a units-based business, and that's different because everything else is based on volume. And so it takes a little bit of a mind shift there. I think my biggest challenge was knowing when to hire and trusting hiring, because when you're responsible for someone else's livelihood, it is not anything that I ever take lightly. I don't ever want anyone to lose their source of income because the business is going south or, payroll or any of those things. And so that was the scariest piece for me, because I knew I needed to hire, but I was terrified of being responsible for someone else's livelihood. I mean, I'm fine risking my own self. Like, I'll figure it out. If I have to, I'll go, get 17 jobs if that's what I need to do. But bringing somebody on and saying, I need you to trust me to know that this is going to grow. You're going to have a steady paycheck and we're going to win together. We're going to grow this together. That was challenging.
Yeah.
And now we have 5 full-time processors. So, I got over that real quick.
Yeah. And you have to do it if you're going to if you are going to grow, you do need to hire staff. I'm in that space. I mean, we've been talking about this for the past year-ish. It's like, how do you know what to delegate? You know, you got to stay in the money-making activity in your business. How do you do that? And unfortunately, nobody really runs us through these things. It's really hard to get people one-on-one to like tell you that process. Let's talk. One thing I love about what we do is like the freedom as a mom. You know, it's blessed us tremendously. I mean, comes sometimes at a cost, but tremendous benefits to being able to be an entrepreneur and, you know, be a mom and work where you need, when you need, and all that kind of stuff. How do you do that with processing?
So that's the nice thing about having the staff too, right? At this point, as well as because I will say my model is a little bit different. Most third-party processing companies, you know, assign one file to one processor, and for the most part, that's generally how we operate. But we also operate as a collective. So, you know, you may not have 8 files right now, and so hey, can you jump in and help so and so over here and get these documents? Or I'm going to be out of the office for 2 hours at the kids' awards ceremony. Can you cover phones and email? And everybody on my staff is willing to do that, which is amazing. And I'm so thankful for the people that, you know, we have. The other thing is it's setting boundaries of saying too, that it's okay for me to be gone for 2 hours during the day. I was joking earlier because someone had tried to call and they were like, I left you a message. And I was like, I know sometimes I eat during the day. Sometimes I eat lunch. Like I just do. I mean, it's not often, but sometimes I do. And giving myself permission to know that like, yes, things are important. Deadlines are important. Closings are important. Like, I got it. I get you. Like, I'm going to get it done. But also knowing that like, I don't have to be available 24/7 to do that. And so that was a huge piece for me as well, is just giving myself permission to say like, no, like nothing's going to change between 10 o'clock tonight and 8 o'clock in the morning. So we're good. I'm going to, you know, spend time with my family and pour into them while I.
Yeah, boundaries are hard to set with people, and it all becomes back to your mindset on that, right? It's like, are you abundance mindset or you lack mindset or fear mindset? Because when we're in fear, we're like thinking, you know, where's the next
fire here? Where's the next one?
Yeah, where's it still going to come from? All that kind of stuff. And when you know, like, no, even if I need to take 2 hours off, it's still going to play out in my favor. More business is coming, all that kind of stuff.
And I make it up. You know what I mean? That's the trade-off, right? You know, because Friday, I'm going to go to my kids' awards ceremony at school in the middle of the day. And that's okay. And nothing is going to blow up in that 2 hours. Like they're really, you know what I mean? And that's the thing that we have to remember, like 100% always like be pushing and doing your best. But I mean, really understanding like nothing can happen in that 2 hours that cannot be resolved.
Yeah.
There's just not, you know what I mean? I mean, I could think of maybe 1 or 2 things, but I mean, like in general, nothing's happening in that 2 hours that can't be resolved, you know, at 12:30.
You mentioned giving yourself permission. So yesterday I was thinking about this. I was going get my face lasered. And so I'm going up to the appointment and I stop that's how we do. I stop at a 4-way stop. And, you know, everybody's doing that, like, are you going to go? Are you going to go thing? Like, who's going? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go. And then in my mind, I'm like thinking to myself, how often are we waiting for permit? Like as women, we wait for permission to move, right? We're waiting for somebody to tell us that we can do what we want to do. We're waiting for somebody else to promote us. We're waiting for somebody else to share our success. We're waiting for somebody else to cheer us on. And that big shift happened in my business when I stopped waiting for permission. And I don't need anybody else to give me permission in my business. Like, right. So, you know, it's like, I'm on my biggest cheerleader. I give myself permission to do all the things.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, no one else will. Not always. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a reinforcement of you in that mindset, because if you're not in that permission mindset, you're of that like, I don't deserve this. I don't know how long this is going to last. this could fall out from under me anytime. And of course, those are things that like we struggle with, right? Well, maybe just me. Maybe it's just me in the back of my mind, right? But if you allow yourself to go down that path, it's a lot scarier than being like, I'm just going to hype myself up. I am the best thing that happened to loans. I am the best, originator. I have the best hair. I got,
There's a list of other things.
all the things.
And it's also, what I was going to say, as women, we're often like, I don't know if men do this. This is why I think events like what we're putting on is so important. It's the I'm sorry and just like, I'm sorry I'm late instead of thank you for waiting for me. It's that value.
That Katie Speedy's taught me that. Did you?
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah. No more I'm sorry. Thank you. Grateful, right? Because it like discounts our value and worth when we're like always sorry for stuff. Or the one I like really focus on is just, well, I'm just, and it's like, you're not just doing anything. Take that out of your language because it is a like, word. And like, I don't know if men do this, but as women being able to stand in our full glory and our full majesty and being able to bring that energy to your business, there's a shift that happens when you're working your business from that place. Like even from like a law of attraction area, whatever, it's like you are like committed and confident and all of that. That's how you shift your business and you really have success is in this like power position. And so getting rid of I'm sorry and just are like real big keys that have helped me a lot. Hey Heather, thanks for joining. Hey guys. Let's see, anything else we have to talk about?
I mean, and you can be sorry for things that you're genuinely sorry for.
Yeah.
It's the common courtesy of like, you know what? It took me a little bit longer to respond to you. Thanks for your patience. Like this is normal. This happens in business all day, every day. And we all have an understanding of like, okay, that's what happens. There's no need to say, I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm respectful of your time and you're respectful of mine and that's fine. But, doesn't have to be a big apology.
Yeah, quit apologizing for stuff you really don't need to apologize for.
Exactly.
Words are important. Yes, words are very important. All righty. So what's going to happen with you over the next, what do you got planned over the next 6 months for the rest of the year?
Oh my gosh. We've got 3 new states coming on. Like I think I just told you, so we have 5 full-time processors now, including myself. And I think we're looking to hire probably more by the end of the year. It's just been kind of an explosive expansion. And that is scary too. I'm like, okay, like we went from 0 to 60 in, 18 months. And so, that's been the biggest key. So for us, it's going to be really streamlining.
What do you do with this scary? Time out. What do you do with this scary? Because I think everybody goes through that. I go through it too.
I don't sleep. How
do you? Same. So right, but what's going to be helpful for the audience with the scary?
Well, honestly, no, like along those lines, I've been focusing on sleep these past 2 weeks. I'm like, you know what? I am going to burn out if I keep up at this pace. And I am no good to my business, our clients, my staff, my husband, my kids, if I keep going at this million miles an hour. Like it's not fair to anybody. And so I finally have been like, I need to focus on sleep. I need to really focus on getting 6 to 8 hours a night, which is unheard of for me. Like usually it's 4 or whatever. And in like even just the past week, just getting restful sleep, turning the phone off, turning, the TV off earlier and kind of doing some meditation and some calming practices of restful sleep. It's been a game changer. Like I got my little app that's like, look at how you've progressed. Like you were anxious and nervous and whatever, like at the beginning of the week, and now you're relaxed, like in the mornings and in the afternoons. So that's one piece. The second piece is going to be like, eat the frog, right? You've heard that saying of You do the hardest thing. Yeah, you do the hardest thing first. And the hardest thing first is getting up and saying, okay, let's go. We're going to do it again today. Like, it's hard. It's scary. Like, I know it's risky. I know that there's challenges, but we're going to get up and we're going to face it head on, and we're just going to keep moving forward. And I think if you keep the progression and serving people well, I don't think you can fail. I really don't. I mean, if you're doing the work and consistently putting in that effort and treating people right and, you know, serving your clients well, I don't think that you can fail. And I, you know, I'm just going to keep believing that until I'm proven wrong. And it's worked so well, you know, it's worked so far, you know.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you a couple things. Number one, I ain't eating no frogs. I'm not going to eat no frogs. I don't care what anybody says. I don't want to do stuff that I don't want to do anymore.
It's a metaphor. Yes, you do. No. You go, you take care of your body, right? You go and work out. Sometimes you don't want to.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I guess some of it. But I like really want to stay in for me and my business, like what really feels good. I'm like a big proponent of like, for at least in my business, because that's how I function, is like, I got to stay between here and here. And this is like, I enjoy what I do, because the minute I go out of that and eating frogs and stuff like that, then it's like that part like derails me. So I like to stay in what I do. And I love the fact that you said belief. I'm going to keep up with that belief. For me, it's been one, I don't think I got real comfortable and I wasn't stretching myself. So I didn't really on the daily have to like practice my belief system. But with the event, it's like, this has been one of the scariest things I've done. And then it was like, oh, now you get a chance to really practice your belief system around, you know, God doesn't give you a plan, or doesn't give you a, you know, a dream without a plan there. And like, I don't have to know the plan. I just got to take the steps, and that support's going to be there for me. And so, yeah, I mean,
you wouldn't have the vision if it wasn't going to come.
Yeah. If you,
and that's why I'm so proud to be your friend. Like, that's why I was first to sign up, because I don't think people really understand this. And I want to make sure that this gets said, because I know you're good about, you know, promoting yourself for the most part. But I'm going to promote you for a little bit. I don't think people understand, you know, I worked in sales and catering, like through college, and, you know, kind of did event planning briefly, like not on this scale. And I don't think people understand what the financial risk is, what the coordinating is of getting a location, even just platforms to make payment, right? Like, in addition to, you know, content and getting speakers and all of the other things, like getting everybody there, what are the accommodations, what's the food going to be, and all of that is on you. Like, I don't think people understand that. Like, you're depending on sales, right? You're believing that that's going to come, and that does not come at a cost. And you're doing that while running a business, running a family, like starting this, you know, promoting. And so I think that's one of the main reasons too, why I was like, yep, sign me up. Like, if you are going to go all in the way that you have, and you're going to say, you know what, instead of bitching about something that I feel is missing, I'm going to make it happen. And there are very few people that are willing to do that. And so that's why
I appreciate that, because like, when every time like a ticket sale comes in, I'm just like, oh my God, thank you for believing in the mission. Like, I believe in the mission, and it's really important to me. But there is no big, you guys, like an event like this is usually put on by like a big company with like a big bankroll and like departments and, you know,
professional, like you're the professional.
They have like marketing departments and resources and like, I don't know, big checking accounts and stuff. And I'm like, it's just me. But I'm like, no, like, because I kept telling, like, you know what we need? And I'm like, yes, see, listen to everybody else. They need it too. Somebody should do this. And everybody's like, yeah, do it. And I'm like, no. Somebody, like, not me, like one of you guys with the big bankrolls, because we do need it. But, you know, nobody's going to do it. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to do it. So, you know, thank you for God giving me the dream, but also providing the support, because I couldn't do it without the support of so many of you guys out there. So If you haven't bought your ticket, please buy it. It makes my life a little bit easier.
And we're pretty fun to be around.
Yeah, we'll have a good time. I promise you. I promise you. I got some amazing, parties and great content happening from the stage.
And pool time and nap time, like that is up my alley. Everybody needs a good nap.
Yes, same. That's up my alley too. So that's, it's going to be amazing. All right. So we talked about you're going to go across the states. Where can people, if they want to connect with you about third party processing, where can they do that?
You can go to the website at www.coastalbreezeprocessing.com. Everything is there. There's a job form for info. You can find me on Facebook, Cheryl Dempsey, or Coastal Breeze Processing, Instagram. Let's see. I mean, anywhere. You can find me. I'm not hard to find. Ask Paige.
You can network to me. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a processor in the industry, Cheryl and her team are absolutely amazing. They'll take really great care of you. And if you guys want to come out to the event, you guys can go to notoriouswmn.com. If you are a possible sponsor, we do have some sponsorships available. We would love your money.
And to support the cause, to support the mission.
Support the cause, support the mission. We'll put it to great use so that you're now tying. I mean, I think the beautiful part about this, whenever I talk to people on sponsorship, it's like, it's such a high touch, meaningful event. And to attach your company name to a mission like this, it's bigger than just any event. Being able to win over the hearts of women in our industry, like that is just a huge honor and opportunity to be able to provide to sponsors. So I'm so grateful for all of you that have sponsored and are sponsors to come. Thank you very much. Get your tickets. And then we're going to be back next week. We're going to be talking to Rebecca Richardson.
My friend Rebecca. I got to sign up for that too.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's, always top production on Scotsman's Guys. She's like, I don't know, a social media, big time influencer in the industry. And what I love about her, super down to earth, great to talk to. We were just going back and forth last night on the Kendrick Lamar and the Drake beef going on. I was like, who knew Rebecca would listen to hip hop?
I would believe it. I got to attend Amplify with Rebecca and had a great time spending. And it was in that was a group of 10 to 12 people, right? Where it's intimate and you really got to know people, in that 1 to 2 days there. And so I really enjoyed our time together there. Yeah, she's top notch. I can't wait to watch her then.
Yeah, same. Well, thank you for coming on. I love you.
Of course.
So,
love you more.
Right, guys. Well, we'll be back next week. Thanks for joining us and I hope you guys have a beautiful day.
Thanks for having me.